They strike and they score, but not by repeating themselves. The Survey is a horror puzzle walking sim that sets the atmosphere, tells the story, but sadly repeats the same scare to the point of being predictable at moments and breaking immersion. Made by Robert Gammon and released in late 2016, this is his first release, and I'm gonna say, Robert, you did well. I'm making these indie horror reviews to prove the point that the horror genre is at the moment being oversaturated with shit, which I feel is for YouTubers just to do let's plays and kids to enjoy, and hopefully finding the good ones amongst the gigantic list that is now on Steam. Made on Unity, I wasn't expecting much from this experience, but I was quite wrong. Waking up from my bed, I go downstairs to start my first puzzle. The puzzle unlocks my phone, which has me start a survey. This is where I was expecting it to play somewhat like Until Dawn, where you answer questions by the psychologist and then they would play a part in the gameplay, and I'm not sure if they did that in the survey. But asking me if I was often worried about if someone was watching me from behind, whilst normally I wouldn't care, the game started to make me actually care. And I think that's where it started to install some sense of horror into the game. By midway through, the game ditches the actual survey and you are no longer participating in it, and it kind of cheapens the experience and makes you question what the overall point of that mechanic was. But to start off, it was a decent idea. As you play, you have these minor hidden object puzzles, and the game drops several journal entries which reveals the nature of the story. The premise of the story is simple but told well, and I don't want to delve into it too much as the game is rather short. The nutshell version of the story is that you play the son and the brother of this moderately dysfunctional family. The house that you're in is empty, but something doesn't feel quite right. Something happened in that house and you aren't sure why. The house itself kind of has this PT vibe, but has this simplified Unity sheen to it. The beer cans and cigarettes on the dressing table was one of the things that heavily reminded me of PT, but the main thing that reminded me of PT was the death and wake up sequence. Whilst the enemy never picked me up and did the whole camera to the face twitch the head thing, the enemy from a distance was doing the whole head twitch thing too. The whole cutting me up only to slowly get up was very PT and kind of lessened my experience because it was somewhat unoriginal. When the first scare happens, I didn't expect it, as you should, and it absolutely scared the shit out of me, especially considering the speed at which it happened. The first time you see it lurking around, it freaked me out too. Along with a few sound bites that made me jump early on, was really well implemented. But by the 5th or maybe 6th time I saw the enemy, I knew it was going to happen, and it really cheapened the experience for me. I'm not going to play the footage now though, as I don't want to ruin the first jump that you have. Just know that Robert uses this over and over again throughout the game. After realizing that there was no fail state either, I was confused as to why the game sometimes had me hide in the closet for a brief moment of time to progress the game, as I knew if she was to simply hit me, I would wake up and I would progress the story. The whole closet thing just felt a little bit out of place to the whole, not dying thing. It just didn't make any sense. The flashlight kind of felt pointless too. By walking up to a switch and turning the light on really cheapened the use for it. The latency also between placing your cursor somewhere and the actual flashlight following you was hilariously significant, but didn't really make an impact on how I played the game. The horror of the survey is actually within the sound design. The sound design of the girl was very creepy, and seeing her less and other unique scares would have been welcome, but the sound of her crying and banging on doors was pretty damn spooky, and I think Robert implemented it well. I did notice one time that the track that was playing the rain stopped and then restarted after a 1 or 2 second delay before restarting, and that was kind of strange, but aside from that, everything was pretty on point with the sound. The game sells for $5 and tells a decent but short story and goes for around an hour and a half. For those who are into walking sims, consider buying this game. The jump scare happens once and then after that it's pretty predictable. The strong point of the game is within the simple yet well told story. Whilst it does have some cliche things, from a picture on your phone saying help me to a radio saying God is dead, the most rewarding part of the survey is uncovering what happened in this house via journal entries and the overall spooky atmosphere and unsettling sound design. I'm quite keen to see what Robert makes in the future. If you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, hit the like and sub button. This is Shawnee Maurice from Hi-Hu. Thanks for watching.